have another video for you in my favorites from my first 18 months wig series. This is Envy Bianca in the color Cinnamon Raisin. I absolutely fell in love with this wig despite the challenges I had with her, and I wound up with her in multiple colors just like all the others. Today I'm going to tell you all about this one. My name is Denise. I'm also known as Hey Wig Sister on Instagram and Facebook. I'm partnering with name brand wigs to bring you this review. When I asked them if they would like to help me with my favorites series, they were all in, and Bianca is one of those wigs. I've got a number of other wigs in this series. I will make sure some information is below in case you've missed those other videos and would like to check out some of my favorites from my first 18 months. I figured if they all worked great for me, they might work great for someone else. Name Brand Wigs is a wonderful online retailer. They carry all the major name brands. They have a great customer service team. They have a blog. I have a coupon code that will save you money on this and all Envy wigs. They're great and I highly recommend them. Let's take a look at this one from all sides. Oh, Bianca. I will admit, she was not my favorite in the very beginning, and I did find her a little bit challenging. One of the struggles that we new wig wearers have is just not being familiar with all the different cap types, not really being familiar with the quirks and challenges of curly synthetic wigs out of the box. I actually have a number of videos where I talk about these things. I have a video where I show you how to work with a curly wig out of the box. Sometimes the curls are really smashed and they just don't look super. And I found that there can be wide variation even within the same style based on how it was packed. I have had a number of Biancas over the years because I did really love her, and every one of them came out of the box just a little bit different. I think one of the reasons I had so many Biancas is because I would find her on clearance often, and I think it's just because a lot of women don't know how to work with wigs like this. So they would look at it out of the box and think, oh gosh, no, and send it back. My goal is to help you make really good purchasing decisions, but also teach you how to work with your wigs so that you don't have to return so many pieces. I think we rob ourselves of the ability to learn how to work with our wigs when we return every one that we buy. So I really encourage you to watch some of those videos that I link in the description box of many of my reviews, because they're meant to help you be successful. I would not be where I am today if I didn't just take the chance with some of my wigs and play with them. So I'd love for you to be having fun if you're not already, and I know you can get there. So aside from potentially having a lot of challenges out of the box, Bianca has a basic cap, but she doesn't have necessarily an easy full bang because the bangs are quite long. So with a basic cap, you don't want to pull the hair up off your forehead because you'll wind up seeing that hard line because there's no lace front. But Bianca does sweep fairly well to the side, but she does have longer pieces that want to fall down in my eyes. I have a video where I show how to take a thinning razor to trim up bangs. Basically, you just take these pieces and then you take that thinning razor and you kind of shave off some of the length until you get it to the length that you want it. You don't have to have cutting skills. You don't even have to have a steady hand to be able to do this. And I do think trimming bangs into Bianca will make her a lot easier to wear, because then you can just pull these bangs down to the front and you don't have to worry about seeing the cap or dealing with sweeping and then having the wind or just movement blow the fibers into your face again. This is made with regular synthetic fibers, so you can work on that by using a clothing steamer. So you don't want to take traditional heat tools to this because it's not heat friendly, but a clothing steamer is great. Just a cheap one. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but you can help train fibers to go in a different direction just by using a steamer. I'll see if I have a video that shows. I haven't done a ton of videos with a clothing steamer, but I do have one that I can think of. I'll make sure that's linked below. The other potential challenge with basic cap wigs is visible permatease. So some wigs have traditional permatease, which is crimpy, pillowy, poofy fibers right at the cap to give volume and lift. But even basic cap wigs with no traditional permatease will have crimpy fibers to help hide the cap. because you don't want to be able to see down to cap. Lace fronts, mono tops, mono parts all mitigate that. We don't have that on this wig. So you may see Permatease right at wherever you decide to part it. The beauty is you can modify the part because you don't have a set part, but there may be crimpy fibers right at the cap. This one is really good. It does not really have visible Permatease, but I have found that can vary from piece to piece. It will also depend on color. Darker and rooted colors won't show visible Permatease as much as lighter colors, blondes and grays that are not rooted. So what do you do about visible Permatease? Well, the first thing I recommend that you do is that you take a wide tooth comb and you just kind of get in at the cap and do some picking up of the hair, kind of picking it. We all remember the 80s when you'd pick your hair. Doing this is going to help lift the fibers up off the cap, kind of wake them up. Sometimes it's worse out of the box because the hair has been securely and tightly packed in that box and all of the fibers have been smashed down. So shaking it out upside down, fluffing up the hair will help with a lot of any issue you have with visible Permatease. And Bianca doesn't have a lot of traditional Permatease, so doing that is not going to give you a lot of volume because it just doesn't have the Permatease for it. There's a little bit of Permatease like right at the crown, but no traditional Permatease at the top, at the front, on the sides, none of that. Another way to combat visible Permatease is styling. Headbands. Huge favorite of headbands with just wigs in general, especially if you're struggling because they all feel so wiggy to you, which is so normal in the beginning, even if they don't look wiggy to others. But when you style your wigs, you will be so amazed by how suddenly your brain is willing to accept the hair on your head when it wasn't prior. And so throwing a headband on will hide some of that visible Permatease, and then tucking the hair behind your ears will also help if you're feeling like the curls and the layers are just giving too much volume and you're not ready for it. When I said basic cap, otherwise known as a machine-made cap, this is what I was talking about. So no lace, no monofilament. We have open ear tabs. They've got holes in them with lots of hair sewn in, so you're getting all kinds of good coverage on the side. We do not have an extended nape on this one. We have bra strap adjusters, so they kind of pull to adjust, and then we have got open wefted throughout the rest. And aside from potentially needing a little help out of the box, she really is a throw and go. Shake her out, maybe spray a little water to refresh the curls. The beauty of both heat-friendly and regular synthetic wigs, the curl is baked in. No styling really needed. And if you wear her quite a bit and maybe you've combed through her, which I don't really recommend fully combing through a curly piece like this, more finger styling is better. But if you find that the curls are looking worse for wear after a period of time, but you're not quite ready to wash her yet, just spray her down with water. That's what I do all the time, and it works like a charm. I kind of talked about Permatease already, but I forgot to add in the density, so let me do that now. Like I said, no traditional Permatease, a little bit at the crown, otherwise crimpy fibers, but nothing really poofy or pillowy, and this is considered a medium density piece. For me, when I got her early on, she felt like a lot of hair, but it's because of the style. It's just very layered. There's a lot of curl and a lot of layers, so she's very sort of round. And again, it was something that I just had to work with. Tucking her behind my ears made a huge difference. Wearing a headband. Sometimes you can take bobby pins and you can lift up the top layer, sort of bobby pin down and then lay the top layer over. That will help a lot with volume. I actually have a video showing how to do that, so I'll make sure it's linked below. I'm just trying to give you everything I can think of. And remember back to my own impressions. I loved her, but I did work with her a little. Let's talk about fit. Envy wigs in general run pretty true to average. Bianca, on the other hand, I think runs smaller than average. I am getting hardly any extra cap up here, barely any at all, and it's pretty snug on my head. I have an average petite head size, and this fits me pretty perfectly. I've not really cinched it in or anything, so I think Bianca runs small. I think she runs closer to average petite than average. Maybe not a true average petite, but definitely smaller than average. Check out my measurements in the description box below. When I wore Bianca, I had a 22-inch circumference. I have lost 3/4 of an inch because of significant weight loss, and I wore her back then, but I do recall she was pretty snug. So I'd say you can wear her 22-inch circumference and down. She's somewhat stretchy, not super stretchy. So if you're okay with wigs being a little snug, then I think that's fine. But I would recommend this generally for a little smaller than average head measurements. I think I got it all and have talked your ear off enough. All I can say is this was an integral part of my wig journey in the early days. I wore this a lot as an active wig, a lot in the summer because I did wear her kind of pulled up with a headband. She was just great for things like that. So she's a workhorse. She's not getting a lot of friction, regular synthetic fibers, and I remember mine just went and went and went. So if you're looking for a workhorse wig to rotate in with some of your others, then, and you love curls, you're not afraid to play with your wigs, Bianca could be a great choice for you. The price is great, especially with the 30% off coupon for a major name brand. So anyway, I loved her and I wanted to tell you about her. Let's talk about color. Cinnamon Raisin. I've seen quite a bit of variation in this color. I would say it's a red. It's not a in-your-face red. It's more of an auburn red. The description is medium brown with reddish gold highlights. I would say it's more than highlights. It's very well blended overall. The reddish gold is not like chunky highlights, or it doesn't look super highlighted. It almost looks like it's more of a reddish with brown lowlights generally. So this is absolutely leaning red. It's a kind of a medium dark brownish red. I've seen more brown in some, so I think the color will vary. We'll look at it outside. It's probably looking more vibrant in here than it will outside, but it's just a gorgeous color. It's not specifically rooted. So if you love your brown reds, this is a great one. So beautiful and well blended, so not heavily highlighted. Let's get outside, and if you have questions, leave them below, and I'll have some helpful videos in the description as well. Don't forget about name brand wigs. See you guys soon. All right. Direct sunlight, straight out of the box. Literally straight out of the box. I figure you guys would understand, especially curly wigs. I've talked about this in so many videos. They don't always look super out of the box. You do need to fluff them and shake them and sometimes spray water on them. But since this segment is just so you can see the color outside, I thought it would be okay. There you go. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. Here are a few videos I think you might enjoy. Go ahead and click on one and watch.